So in this problem, they clearly represented a cone of base diameter 40 mm, axis length is 50 mm long, resting on HP on its base. It cuts a sectional perpendicular to the VP, inclined at 45 degree to HP and bisecting the axis. Draw the front view, sectional top view, and they have provided true shape of the section. Okay. So now what I am going to do is that I am going to develop my first one is the XY plane. Okay, I am going to develop my XY plane over here. Okay, let us consider maybe over here. XY plane is here. I am considering this as my X and this as my Y, then this as my VP and this as my HP. Okay, so in this problem also they clearly represented that what they are saying, 45 degree inclined to HP means automatically your top view will be on the HP. Okay, please understand, 45 degree to HP means your top view will be in the HP. So in this problem they have provided a cone of base diameter is how much? 40 mm. In this question they have provided the base diameter of 40 mm. So I am going to consider my compass. So I am going to measure 40 mm. Okay, I am going to place it over here. Let us take in this condition. Okay, so I am going to I am going to develop my so what is this dimension value now? What is the radius, sorry, what is the diameter of this circle? Is 40 mm. So I am going to mark this as this is my 40 mm. Okay, so this is diameter of 40 mm. This is my diameter of 40 mm. Okay, usually what we used to do with this circle, can anyone tell? 8 equal parts, that's all. We are going to divide this into 8 equal parts. So for that I am going to consider a reference line. Sorry, considering 8 equal parts. Let's consider this as the first one. I think it is not required that much. We can keep like this. First one, and this is your second one. Okay, from the center I am going to take my third one, and this is my fourth one, and this is my fifth one, and this is my sixth one. So we have divided our circle into 8 equal parts. Okay, for this 8 equal parts I am going to name it now. So this is my A. Okay, then this is my B, then this is my C, then this is my D. Please draw along with me so that it is easy for you to complete it. E, F, G over here, and H. Okay, so I have divided my circle into 8 equal parts and I have named it too. Okay, I have named it too. Now what we used to do is that In this question, they have provided the axis length is how much? 50 mm. Okay. So I am going to keep it over here, and I am going to consider this as my 50 mm, and I am going to cut the arc over here. Okay. This is my 50 mm. Now what we used to do, we will consider our line and we will joint to our axis. Sorry. Then from this point to the axis, then what shall we do? We will consider some more reference lines also, like from this point intersecting with this over here, from this point intersecting with this over here. So once again we can consider the lines and marking from this point to here and marking from this point to here and developing our base over developing our base over here. Okay, your cone is now developed. So in your question they have provided how much? 45 as your cutting angle. Okay, so in your question, what is this length of this cone? So they have provided from here. I am taking for my dimension marking, I am taking like this. I am going to mark from here, sorry, I am going to mark from this point to this point. Okay, what is the dimension now? They have provided this as how much? They have provided the length of my cone is 50 mm. Okay, I am placing over here. So when it is bisecting, how you will consider? As per understanding, either they may give from the top to from the top what is the distance, or from the bottom what is the distance, but in this question they have provided bisecting. Okay, so for bisecting what you will do, you will consider only the midpoint. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to mark a midpoint now. I'm going to consider this as my, I'm going to mark this as my midpoint of my cone. Okay, this is my midpoint. Okay, now what shall we do? 50 means you will consider this as 25. I will mark that also. Wait, I will mark that line too. From this, the dimension is how much? From here till here, the dimension is 25 mm. Okay, are you clear now? Can you able to understand? Okay, now I am going to consider my protractor and I am going to place it over here on this midpoint. Okay, in your question what they have provided, cut section plane perpendicular to VP inclined at what angle they have provided? At what angle they have provided in the question? So I am going to mark 45 degree over here. Okay, can you able to understand? I am going to take my protractor. Okay, I am going to place it on the bisecting point over here and mark my 45 degree. Can you able to understand? Anyone have any doubt on this part? Okay, now I am going to move my protractor and I am going to consider, okay, my cut section. This is my cut section plane. Can you able to understand? This is my cut section plane. Okay, so that everyone can able to understand this cut section plane now. Okay, now I am going to mark my positions. Okay, so already this point is considered to be, sorry, this point is considered to be O. This is O. This point is considered to be O. Now we want to mark our base points. So this is your A dash, okay, then followed by this is your what you will get, either B dash of H dash or H dash of B dash for this point, either B dash of H dash or H dash of B dash. Any answer? B dash of H dash, then followed by we are coming to next one. Over here what happens, C dash of G dash, okay. Then the next point is what, D dash of F dash. Then the last point is E dash. So your apex value is what, it's O dash, okay. So this is what we want to develop the first stage. Already you have developed all this first two process in your previous unit itself. If you are clear in that, you can able to develop this one, okay. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to develop as 1 2 3 for our cutting plane projection, okay. So I am going to consider this as my first point, okay, 1 dash, okay, then followed by 2 dash in this point, second point. Then the next one is 3 dash over here on the axis, then followed by 4 dash over here on the next one, and the last one is 5 dash, okay. I'm going to place it over here. Similarly, what we are going to do is that on the reverse order we are going to consider over here also. So if you take in the case of this 5 and 1, you may not get that. You are going to represent only for 6 dash over here, then 7 dash over here, and the last is 8 dash over this point, okay. So after completing this, we can able to come to a point that we have the cutting planes more clear over here. But if you take in the case of this third point, that is your axis point, if you just take it to the bottom, you cannot able to find any intersection. So what we are going to do is that we are going to develop a reference plane from, sorry, a reference plane from this point to here and developing to the bottom and cut it over here, okay. From here you can consider until this point, okay, because if you take in the case of this axis line, when you take on the bottom you cannot find any points. So what we are going to do is that we are going to extend this and we are going to do a perpendicular reference over here. So what we are going to do is that now we are going to see how our cut section on this plane, okay, after cutting this, how it looks like in our diagram. So I am going to mark my points. So if you take in the case of, sorry, I forgot to take another one more line from this point, 1, from 1 you want to take another one line, this is your reference point. Then 2 is already there, 3 we have considered, then for 4 also we want to develop, then followed by for 5 also we want to develop a reference line, or I think you can I can take some other lines, color lines. So like this. Then for 3 we have taken a reference, 4, then this is our 5. Okay, so for this what I am going to do is that I am going to mark 1 intersecting with my A. This is my first point. Okay, now considering 2 which is going to intersect over here, then 3 we want to take the axis. For that only we have considered a reference. For this what we are going to do is that we are going to take our compass, place it over here. Okay, then move and measure this distance, and you just take an axis. Okay, this is because your axis line will be, you cannot able to find any points. To find that point what we are going to do is that extending your axis line and taking another one reference line and taking a arc on the inside. Due to that you can able to find the next point. Okay, now your third point will be over, sorry, your third point will be over here, then your fourth point will be over here, then fifth point, then sixth point, then seventh point, then your eighth point is over here, sorry, maybe over here, this is your eighth point. Okay, so if you just connect all the lines you can able to find a cut section part. That means I think we can go with the pen itself. This is your top view position looks like. So you can develop your scratch positions like this. Like this only your top view cut section looks like. When you see from the top side your view will be like this. That means from this point to this point is cutted, this point is not available now. So when you look into that it looks like this. That means I will show you once again. Sorry, your true position may be like this. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to extend from this a perpendicular line, or first we can develop an axis. So for developing an axis, once again considering from here to here a parallel profile, that is your axis profile, and moving it parallel to this. Okay, now we are going to represent this as x1, this is your x1 and this is your y1. Okay, you can keep it over here. Now we are going to create our reference axis. For creating the reference axis, we are going to create from our first cutting point perpendicular to this, then from our second cutting point perpendicular to this, then our third cutting point perpendicular to this, that means from here. I think you can take from this point, then from this point to here, and from this point to here. So you created once again the reference lines. Now consider the compass, measure from not A on this point, the reference point, considering the distance, then keep it over here, cut the arc on this, then followed by keeping over here, measuring the distance. Okay, after that keeping here and cutting an arc, then followed by similarly keep it once again over here, then measure the another point, then keep it here on the reference x1, cut an arc over here, then once again take third point, measure the distance, keep it here on the third point itself, then turn it and cut it, then once again keeping on C, measuring the distance of your next point, keep it over here on the reference, then turn your compass, mark it over here, mark it over here, then on the next cutting point 4, measure the distance, keep it over here, then rotate it, cut the arc, then once again on this fourth point extension, keep it here, measure on the bottom one, then once again keep it on the reference line, rotate it, cut an arc over here, cut an arc over here, then followed by once again the last point, you can keep it over here, then rotate it and measure the distance, then keep it on your last point, rotate it, cut it. Okay, so after this, if you take it, your true shape looks like this. So you can once again mark it on the solid. So what it represents, the cutted portion over here is projected and represented. So this is your true position. Okay, so you can mark this as 1 dash of 1. Okay, if you refer your first point from here only it is taken, then followed by if you take this one, this is your 2 dash of 1. Okay, then 3 dash of 1 over here, then followed by 4 dash of 1, at this point. Then 5 dash of 1 over here you will get. Then 6 dash of 1 you will find it over here. Then 7 dash of 1, okay, 7 dash of 1 you will get it over here. Then 8 dash of 1, the last point, you will get it over here. So this is your projection of cone and identifying the true position after the cutting of planes. Okay, so this is the diagram you want to develop for cone cut section. Okay,